It's a huge overreach. It's one in which the Congress didn't act. It was the president and his administration that acted.
Now that the federal government is rolling out its multi-gender public school bathroom policy, an attorney weighing the impact of the edict is hoping states and school districts across the country will rise in opposition.
I think we have both the separation of powers that we can raise, and I think the school districts can ultimately raise their children's privacy rights so that they don't have to be put in a place where their young daughter is submitted to a situation where she's in the bathroom and a young man can walk in simply because he identifies that day as a young woman. And I think that's where we're going to see the school districts stating that they won't have to abide by the federal dictates simply because schools should be controlled locally, and the Constitution's protection against the separation of powers and the privacy rights that the Constitution and the courts have long enshrined.
Noel Sterritt with the Malcolm Baker Law Firm in Chicago commented on the Obama administration directive during the Illinois Family Institute Faith Leaders Tour.
I think as a directive would go out and fundamentally rewrite a law that they have no constitutional authority to rewrite is troubling, not only in the sense that it's unconstitutional, a violation of state rights and separation of powers, but also troubling to send a message that parents and school districts cannot protect the privacy rights of young women who are seeking to be protected from invasions of their privacy is deeply troubling.
Mr. Sterritt, an Alliance Defending Freedom allied attorney, says parents in Palatine District 211 who are challenging the school board's co-ed restroom and locker room policy are setting an example for parents elsewhere to follow.
Ultimately, what we're going to see is more parents rise up like those in Palatine and in other school districts, rise up and challenge and say enough is enough. No, we are not going to allow biological men into our young women's bathrooms. More and more parents need to stand up and fight their school boards on this, and more states need to stand up and say, no, we are in control of our schools, and the federal government cannot refuse to provide us with taxpayer dollars towards our schools simply because we are interested in protecting the rights of young women to have privacy. It's a fundamental right, it's a constitutional right, one in which courts have long recognized.
Under the federal decree, every public school in the nation must allow bathroom and locker room access on the basis of self-identity, not biological sex. Any laxity in carrying out the mandate will put offending schools on the hot seat, with the threat of lawsuits and the potential loss of federal taxpayer dollars.
At this point, I think we can certainly defeat it on process grounds because nothing was done through the legislature. But we also need to know that we need to make sure that we elect legislators that can know the difference between what is and what is not constitutional and what is and should not be done with respect to the privacy of our young women in schools and in other places that may receive federal taxpayer dollars.
Call your U.S. representative and urge him or her to stop the federal takeover of bathrooms and locker rooms. The U.S. Capitol switchboard number is 202-224-3121. Or click Action on the IllinoisFamily.org homepage.